I routinely turn down debates with atheists who are popularizers, who want to have the spotlight and achieve a reputation.
Who could possibly be an example of this?
You got proof otherwise, bro? You got empirical evidence? You are a sinner. How about that cow? Look at that rack. She's really horny.
Oh, right. Welcome back to another Debate Teacher Reacts video coming at you right now, and a huge thank you to everyone who has subscribed recently. A huge thank you to Tim Barnett, who put this little channel on the radar for a lot of people. Thank you so much for, go ahead and, applaud yourselves. I really do appreciate it. I really do. I would stand up right now, but I'm wearing gym shorts under here. By the way, Tim has a great channel. It's Red Pen Logic with Mr. B. Tim is part of an excellent ministry that you've heard me talk about. If you've seen some other videos, it's called Stand to Reason. You definitely need to go and support Tim if you're not aware. And the thing is, like, he's doing a similar style videos as me. We're not doing exactly the same thing, but he's coming out of a public high school sector, just as I did. And our goal is to help you think better as Christians in today's culture. So I have more debates coming at you real soon, but today I want to try to answer a couple of questions that have come down the pike here in the area of how to debate. How should I best prepare? And I figured the best way to do that is follow the format and watch a video from the GOAT, Dr. William Lane Craig here. He talks about in this video how he prepares to debate atheists and skeptics, and I figured I could watch it and provide some extra commentary in this regard in the hopes that it will actually get you prepared when you get out there and you start engaging others. So let's go ahead and watch this video. All right. Ooh. The movie is about to begin. Silence your cell phones.
One of the things that...
Which, by the way, Capturing Christianity is a really great channel, okay? Cameron Bertuzzi. That's an epic name, by the way, you know? It sounds like it's the fastest car on the freeway. You know, you kind of like blaze by somebody going like 140 miles an hour, and then they meet you at the red light, and they're like, hey, bro, what's that car you're driving there? It's a Bertuzzi. I love it. It's epic. I mean, no disrespect, Cameron. Great channel, great content on that channel. Go check it out for sure.
Or is your debates with atheists, and these aren't just atheists off the street. These are philosophers,
Yes,
who are supposedly familiar with the literature and your work.
in fact, I routinely turn down debates with atheists who are popularizers, who want to have the spotlight and achieve a reputation for their opposition to Christianity, but frankly, who haven't done the hard work of getting a degree and doing serious scholarship.
Who could possibly be an example of this?
You got proof otherwise, bro? You got empirical evidence? You are a sinner. How about that cow? Look at that rack. She's really horny.
Oh, right. Got it.
I don't give these people a platform. The people that I debate are the top academic scholars at secular universities who are atheists and agnostic.
I take it William Lane Craig is not suggesting that people with degrees are special kinds of elite folks who get access to his attention. I think what he's saying is if you've been given a degree, you did so because you put in the hard work to earn the degree. You wrestled with scholarship. You created your own. You had to operate in the environment of peer review. So that means that you'll take the topic seriously when it comes to a debate. You don't want to get on the debate stage with someone who's not serious. If you didn't see the last video, the link is up there because it was hot caging garbage fire. You want someone who's wrestled with the issues, who's thought about it, and who's ready to give 100% to push back on your position substantively. That's what you want as a debater, someone who respects the issues.
You said something that was interesting, that these people, some of them just want to forward their own, I don't know, I want to call it a ministry. They want to evangelize for atheism, and maybe the reason that you don't do this is because you don't want to give them a platform.
That's part of it. Some of these people are very eager to have the spotlight and be the big man. the big anti-Christian figure. They want to be Richard Dawkins or Christopher Hitchens or someone like that. And I say you've got to earn that kind of stature.
Right.
And I'm not going to just give it to them. On the other hand, I have to say also very candidly that in the few cases in which I have acquiesced and debated such a person because there was no one else available, I've usually regretted it because the level of the conversation is so low.
I wonder if also in that answer, there's an element of uncertainty that Dr. Craig just does not appreciate. And I don't think I would appreciate it either. And what I mean by that is in a debate, you need to research the opposing viewpoint. So much, in fact, that you could adopt your opponent's position in a mock debate setting. And so what's great about going up against someone who has wrestled with the issues in the past and they've published their views is you know what they're going to say. Maybe not every single thing, but generally speaking, an established scholar who has developed points of view, they're not going to show up on debate day and have like an all brand new and novel approach to debating this particular topic. They're largely going to stick what they've said before. And so you can then research their position and develop your opposing arguments. When someone just walks up off the street, it's more difficult to determine how they're going to argue. It's not impossible, but there's just more work to do on the fly.
Going back to my point earlier was that you've debated these people, and in most cases, the vast majority of cases, people think that you've won these debates. And the question that I have for you is, what does your preparation look like? I know that you do a very intensive study on their arguments and their beliefs and their background, but what does your preparation for the actual debate look like?
What I do is I first of all read the work of my opponent.
Okay.
I read what he has written on these subjects, and then having done that, I prepare responses to the objections that he raises in his published work and will most likely raise in the debate.
Yeah, I mean, this cannot be overstated, so I'll say it one more time. Okay, with someone who's well established, you're not going to see new and amazing ways to argue their points. This is true on both sides of the God topic. You know, if you track a lot of debates that say Dr. Frank Turek does, for example, you'll find him making the very same points that he's made in previous debates. And this is also true of Christopher Hitchens. It's also true of Bart Ehrman or whoever, right? It's because they believe the points of argument that they use work, and they won't abandon them so easily in another debate. So if you're thinking about getting into debates and it seems a little daunting, it's really not. It just comes down to your prep. You have to be really smart about your prep.
And I craft these responses so that they are very brief, very pithy, and can be quickly delivered, because in a debate situation, time is so precious.
Oh, yes.
That you're battling the clock.
All
the time.
You are battling the clock. I mean, and the clock is literally in view of your eye as you are speaking on stage. This is part of what I love about debate. It forces you to be concise. You have to trim all the fat off that steak and just focus on the meat, or else you're wasting precious time and losing out on crucial moments of opportunity.
Do you memorize them, or is it?
I typically don't memorize them. I prepare what are called briefs, like a legal brief. And then I file these briefs. And when the opponent gets up and he raises, say, the problem of evil, I just reach into my notebook and pull out that brief, and then I'm ready to speak from it. And so the briefs serve as notes for speaking. And so in my rebuttal speech, I will simply go through a series of these briefs responding to his objections or his arguments for his point of view. I'll prepare both briefs, which are responses to his arguments for his view, and then briefs in answer to his anticipated objections to my view.
Notice what Dr. Craig said there. He's trading on the fact that his opponent must not only poke holes in Dr. Craig's argumentation in debate, but his opponent must also argue for their own position on the topic of debate. And what I'm seeing, and I'm sure you're seeing the same thing out there, is that some atheists really don't think that they need to make any positive argument from their position. And so when Christians try to identify what the atheist position is on a given subject, it's like trying to pull out a tooth. They act like they don't need to answer the question, but they absolutely do.
Is this what you would recommend to apologists who are getting into debating atheists? Is this the same kind of method you would suggest they use?
Yes, absolutely. For anyone who wants to have this kind of ministry, Preparation is going to be critical. And then what they need to do as well is they need to get some experience. They need to take a course on debating techniques, and then they need to do mock debates before they ever go into a public debate. Otherwise, they risk losing and dishonoring the gospel.
Great stuff. Mock debates and drills and practice is absolutely crucial to developing your debate skills. And it just cannot be said enough. You have to practice with other people, okay? Not alone, with other people who are adept at approaching the other side of the issue. Having said that, though, let me add a few more things that might be helpful in this regard. And this is actually based on the criteria that I use to adjudicate the debates that I've reacted to before. The better debater utilizes lots of evidence and sources. In a typical public forum debate at the high school level, you know, the evidence will be like news articles, statistics, quotations, etc. But evidence is a tricky word when you get into arguments about theology, philosophy, because a methodological naturalist, which is someone who rejects the supernatural whole cloth, and they'll only look for explanations that entail a natural cause. Those folks will reduce down the type of evidence that can be accepted in debate to only those things that can be naturally observed or empirically verified. The problem with that is evidence as a category is much broader than what can be empirically verified. And so a Christian will get into a debate and provide philosophical proofs and arguments for the existence of God, and that counts as evidence. And the atheist will get up and say, that's not evidence, because they're trying to define evidence in a very reductionistic way. Don't be swayed by that. The atheist's job is to prove that the arguments are invalid or they're not sound. They don't get to play judge and decide that evidence is only the thing that they say it is. So make sure you're providing a lot of evidence and sources, and you'll end up developing your ethos, your credibility with the audience, with the judge, and you'll look much more professional. It cannot be said enough, in my opinion. It comes down to your performance in crossfire. The one who asks better questions, leading questions to poke holes in their opponent's argument and identify flaws and inconsistencies, they end up controlling crossfire or cross-examination. And it is a beautiful thing to witness when that happens. A great example of staying in control in crossfire was Jeff Durbin and James White versus Greg Clark and Dan Ellis. They clearly did their research. They were ready to attack their opponent's position, and it was excellent. A horrible example of asking questions in cross-examination is Christopher Hitchens engaging Frank Turek. And even Hitchens versus William Lane Craig. The questions that Hitchens asked were probably rhetorically powerful, but not the best questions designed to attack the Christians' main contentions. They sort of wandered and veered, and thus they were weak leading questions. The only way you can develop powerful leading questions to attack your opponent's arguments is if you study your opponent's arguments. You need to know their position inside out. You need to pass the intellectual Turing test, because once you are so familiar with studying it, you can begin to see where all the cracks and the weak points in the facade are. And then you can zoom in on those weaknesses and those cracks and then shine a spotlight on them. This is arguably the most important thing that I'm going to say in this video. The better debater lays a better framework, okay? You have to be the better narrator in the debate. You see how my videos provide commentary on the debates as they are happening? You need to do that. You need to provide the judge and the audience a clear commentary of how to weigh the arguments and judge the debate. Because a lot of times, the audience doesn't know how to sift through the information that is presented in debate. And by the way, this doesn't just happen in debate. I mean, this happens in courtrooms. You know, this happens with trial juries. The jury is instructed on how to sift through the information they hear in trial. Why? Because most people need that extra help, especially when it comes to conversations in specialized fields. And William Lane Craig does a really great job of laying a good framework. Go back to the debate that I reacted to with, I think it was Dr. Craig versus Christopher Hitchens at Biola. If you watch his opening statement there, he tells you how the debate should be argued on both sides. He tells you how the debate should not be argued. And then throughout the debate, he reminds you, the audience, of how the debate is going based on this interpretive grid that he has laid, this framework that he has set. It sounds manipulative in a way, but laying a framework is really helping a judge or a jury to better think through what they're hearing. And if you're arguing for the truth, that's not manipulative. That's just being helpful. So these elements are what I'm paying close attention to when I make these videos, and I react to them. And if you desire to get out there and engage others, to debate others, I encourage you to develop in those particular skills. And as Dr. Craig pointed out, everything you do must be filtered through the notion that you are honoring the gospel of Jesus Christ. Because if you don't, you'll end up coming across like a jerk, and that's not what we want. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. As always, if you want to see me react to a particular debate, let me know in the comments below. These videos are definitely for you guys, and I'm so appreciative for all of you that are watching and liking the videos. It's telling me that I'm doing something right here, and we'll press on. So stay tuned, and I'll see you on the next video.